Hey guys, welcome back to Financial Hub Forex Academy. I am Caleb Sam, and today I'm going to talk about the wins and losses. When it comes to Forex analysis, markets, we like being transparent, showing things how they are, and how we are trading. Also, the problems, the ups and downs, the disadvantages, the pros, and all that. It's good for you guys to know, especially if you're starting out, if you're new to the game. This information really helps you out. So, for today, I won't do a market analysis. I'll do more of how I made, how I lost. I'll look at the trades I took, a few losses that I made, a few wins that I had, and how I was able to end the week profitable and withdraw some money from my funded FX. Like I said, I have a couple of accounts that are running on the prop firm challenges, but I'm focusing on showcasing one. Okay, so the $100,000 one that I've put live for people to follow. I don't want to talk about all the accounts that I'm trading. So whatever you see happening on this account, there's a big chance, a high chance, it is happening on the other accounts as well. So for now on, because of personal purposes, personal preferences, I stick to sharing one account. I used to share all of this online. If you go to my Instagram and all that, you'll see that I used to share all of them at the same time. But now I'm really sticking to only sharing one of them, and it's up to you now to decide or to know what is happening across the board. But first things first, I have to say, as much as I made and I lost, in terms of trading, I also did lose a big account with Funded Engineer. So Funded Engineer had a really big account in the tune of the 6 figures, and what happened the other day, they lost their license. You can do your own research. I'm not here to talk about it, but they lost their license with FPFX or FPFX, I think so, and other things that were going on behind the scenes. And so far, it seems like they're sorting it out, because also, if you look at their backend, the communication, hopefully it can come back live. But like what happened with my Forex funds, once something goes under the bus, something goes under, better be prepared for the loss rather than if it comes back. I'm not hopeful. In trading, we've learned not to be hopeful. When you get a loser, cut that loser quickly. So I lost a big account there. It's been about 2 weeks now, 2.5 weeks. I haven't had that account, haven't traded it. It's somewhere in the cloud. It's somewhere. Okay. So I'm waiting for them to sort that. But something that is of importance across the board, apart from, because this has happened across a lot of people. You've seen True Forex Funds, I talked about it last time. You've seen Funded Engineer, you've seen Funding Pips, you've seen Billions. Across the board, a lot of things are happening. But also, it's something that if they're able to manage it well, it might be a good plus for the prop firms. If they're not able to manage it well, and maybe they're doing crazy stuff like what my Forex funds was doing, then this can be a very huge hit to the Forex fund, to the prop firm industry. But so far I remain positive. Let me see. I've gotten access back to my dashboard on the Funded Engineer, or rather, they sent new emails, login passwords. So what I'm just waiting for is for them to create for each and everyone, because I hear we're about 40,000 traders, so they're trying to sort out. But anyway, that's a story for another day. That's speculation. I'll give you an update once it's back, but that's what is happening at the moment. So far, back to my funded FX. So far, I've had a good experience with them. I'm almost using them now for 1 year. They've never delayed in any payment, so they always pay on time. And one thing that I did, and I said this in a previous video, when I bought this challenge, I paid extra to be getting weekly payments. Okay, and this has worked wonderfully for me, and I'll explain why. So an advantage with my funded FX, when I purchased it, most of you know that when I bought it, I paid extra, or what they call an add-on, for me to be getting weekly payments. And that weekly payments has been very advantageous to me since I went online, or rather since I went live. And I'll explain why when I go down to the charts. And reason being, once you do certain analysis, once you get a trade setup that's running, not with the infatuation or the need to make money, but when you're making money by end of week on Friday, if you have a profit running, so instead of holding it and hoping for holding it over the weekend, you'd rather just cash on it and then run with it. Take your profits, withdraw it next week, look for new trades. Okay, so that's something that I did this past week. I'll show you that trade that I had. But what I want to start with is I want to start with my losses. So let's start with the losses, how I got those losses, how I handled them, what I learned from them. Remember, I'm heavy on journaling, and most of you know that. And journaling is very important because it helps you grow as an individual. It helps you know what you're doing right. It helps you know what you're doing wrong. It helps you also, even if you get a loss doesn't necessarily mean you're doing something wrong. It can continue teaching you from what you're doing right, how can you continue adjusting around it. Okay, so it's not a matter of I got a loss, I need to change my system, or I need to adjust my system and change it. No, it's how can I work around. Maybe your stop losses are very tight, so you're just being spiked, markets goes to target. Maybe you're getting wrong entries, you enter too early, so such stuff. So that's what it helps the journaling. So if you go down to the analysis, if you go down to my chart, so what you're seeing here is a chart. And if we go here, if you look at the first trade that I had, this is Aussie dollar. So if I go back to the chart, Aussie dollar, I had this around, that was on the 1 hour chart. It was a very good trade, okay. It ran into profit. I was actually broken even. If you're in my community, the KST community, and my students, you know that I had that running trade, broken even. But what happened at the end of the trade, I scaled into that account, that trade. Okay, so one sec, let me show you. So the trade idea that I had, it was actually here. So this was actually a good trade. If you look at it here, when I executed the trade, got a good entry. You know, I normally look for direction of the trend. So we had this good downward direction of the trend. You can see this impulse, correction, impulse. Now this impulse came in the correction in the form of a flag, and I got that entry point. Okay, so if you look at it here, I had this good trade here, somewhere here and there. Got that entry, okay, you can see executed, had a perfect entry. Markets played here a bit but ended up falling to the downside. Markets came shy of my target, okay. Now this was what caught me, okay. When markets started coming back up, I had a small flag here, which I will say wasn't a really good idea, honestly. When I was speaking here at the fund with my partners and Taras and Ken, we're normally looking at the pros and cons of what you did right or wrong. So for me, basically, I was looking for this level. Market was coming back to this level here. So I was looking at this level, a valid level, okay? So I was looking for this level. You can see that touch, sort of a resistance here, support, broke to the downside, retest. I was looking for markets to go to the downside. So you can see I got a second scaling. This is the trade that I took. I got a scaling here. Now remember, the first trade that I took, all the time when market goes 50% towards target, I always break even. So I'm never holding on to a trade that has passed 50%. My stop losses are always at break even, okay? So that one was at break even, but what happened at the end of the day, so I was looking for that level to hold. What ended up pushing up to the upside, you can see this move to the upside. This one just took me out, took me a stop loss, took my break even trade because I took an entry here. So when it came up and spiked around here, I'd already broken even, took me out. So I had one loss, okay, 1% loss, and that full break even that I had on that one, okay. So that's what happened on that one. But as usual, you feel bad in the moment. It's a normal psychological feeling. Taking a loser, take the hit, then move on. So I don't fight with the market. Once it does that, you can see eventually markets ended up dangling around here, then ended up falling to the downside. What I was waiting for, I was waiting for markets to form maybe a bigger flag. So this is what I was waiting for actually. So I was waiting for markets to come back here maybe, with the fact that it moved to the upside. I was totally fine with the loss. I was like, okay, new opportunity, I'll manage it properly. But market was held by this level, the resistance level. You can see we had, it fell too close to the upside, came down, had a retest here. Then we had news coming out last week. Then you can see how market just fell to the downside, hitting targets, even surpassing it, and then turning, okay? So this is what we call a failed follow through, what I like calling a failed follow through. What does that mean? Markets move to the downside, breaks a certain key level, okay, breaks a certain key level, doesn't sustain the move below it, comes back up, closes back up strongly, okay, and continues moving to the upside. Now this will act in my favor. I'll show you a trade that I had now on Friday that once market turned that direction, got the direction to the upside, I got another trade that was able to give me profits on that one. But that was the first loss that I had, okay. So I had that 1% loss, and then I had another loss on gold, we just hit my stop loss, then went to target. It was this one. So I had another flag here. You know, I majorly trade on flags. You can see this strong impulse, correction here. I was looking for this level to hold. You see this level here? To me, that was the primary key level that was looking for markets to hold. So I had an entry here, had a good risk reward of about 1:2.5, 1:3, but markets, what ended up happening, markets moved to the upside. You can see that's the post took me out before moving to the downside. Now if you go look at that on the chart, if you go to gold, it was actually a good trade, but not well managed, because what I will have done, you can see now markets are moving to the upside. Here you go. So I had this one. So you can see what actually ended up happening. Markets got another key level. So you can see this is a liquidity zone. This is basically liquidity zone. When I was entering the markets, yes, I took it here. It's a key level, but the better liquidity zone, not key level, the better liquidity zone was above that level. So even if I got that loss, it was a good trade that I took, got a loss, but what I'm saying I didn't do well, it was another entry point, okay? If you look at it on the 4-hour chart, the market was still moving in a downtrend, okay? So it was at a major key level, okay? That was somewhere here. Okay, you can see market had rejected. It wasn't breaking above this strong key level. Okay, still in a downtrend. The fact that market moved down, got that correction there, I'll have still gotten an opportunity to take a shot. But that happens in the market. Sometimes you have cold feet, sometimes you take the risk. This time I believe I had some cold feet. I decided to stay out. You see, I just had the loss on Aussie dollar, had this loss on this one. So I was like, you know what? Instead of risking too much, let me take a break. But what ended up happening? Markets moved to the downside. Another flag ended up forming. I didn't trade this one. Okay, now this was also a good flag. Okay, I didn't trade this one because news was coming out around here. Now if you know news, when market is just about to release news, I'd rather stay out of it. Okay, because markets can spike you out and take you back in. If I was in the trade running, I would have known how to manage it differently, but the fact that I wasn't in the trade just yet, I decided, you know what, let me sit out on this one. Whatever happens, happens. Yes, you can look back and say this would have been a good trade, I've made a lot of money, but the truth is, if market spiked me out, it will be a totally different story. So first, protect yourself psychologically. That's what I always do. Be in a good state of mind to trade, and then from there, now trade your system. For me, I wanted to protect myself psychologically, not be in the charts, just looking at my charts the whole time, and markets ended up falling. So you can see these were two good successful flags that formed. I got the first one, there was no news around that time, and then the second one I didn't take because markets were moving in the time of the news. So I had those two trades. I got a 2% loss, took the L, and then move forward. So I believe that was the previous week, not this week that has passed, but the previous week. Okay, so this new week that came, I got two other trades now. Last week, I remember I made about 3,500 in a span of 3 hours, which ended up giving me a 1,500 profit, because if you do the math, I was down negative 2%, and then I made 1.5, 1.6% to the profit. So which trades were those? So I had a good trade here on Aussie dollar and USD CAD. You see this flag that was forming here on gold? Across the board, a lot of flags are forming on all the pairs that I trade. Now, the pairs that I trade, for those who are asking why is Euro USD, GBP USD, and all that, USD CAD, Aussie dollar, gold, only pairs that I trade, okay? So on Aussie dollar, here we go. Here, so you see here, let's get rid of this one. Once market pushed to the downside, this was basic technical analysis that I teach in my class. Liquidity, what I was just telling you right now, okay? What happened on this one is that markets moved to the downside, didn't get much. This was news. When news comes out, it acts as a catalyst to give us the path of least resistance, okay? Sometimes that happens and the market continues with that move. So the path of least resistance was to the downside because the trend was to the downside. If you look at where market is coming from, we're coming from an upside coming downwards. So that's a downtrend, okay? So, but basic markets analysis, okay? Markets pushed to the downside, didn't get much liquidity to continue moving to the downside, because once market shows you direction, it's sort of like this. I remember this was also news. You see what happened with this fall is that what happened, markets even continued pushing further to the downside, creating a new low after this low was formed. But with this one, immediately after breaking the previous low, which was here, markets quickly retraced back up and started moving to the upside. So for me, I felt that the market was changing their direction. This was more of a gut feel trade, okay? And then when markets moved to this upside, remember, market always moves respecting key levels. So we had this resistance, market broke to the upside, created another flag pattern here. So I remember this is what formed, and I got that. So pre-New York Open, I remember it was around 4:30. I got this trade entry and I bought it to the upside. Now my target was at the previous high, so I took that trade, and alongside that one, I traded USD card. Now USD card, you can see here I was waiting for a flag today. Markets didn't reach, which is totally fine. Can't force markets. It is what it is. Okay. For my students, I shared my analysis today morning. I'm sure you already saw it, what I was looking for, but that was one of them. Okay, you can see our market came to liquidity. Now look at this. It's almost like the gold trade that I was talking about. You see what happened here? Market created liquidity. What a good friend of mine called Kev, like saying, it created a footprint. So that was a footprint left in the market, where market easily goes back, gets liquidity for it just to move in the direction of the trend. So markets moved to that level. I was just waiting for it a little bit higher to respect this my flag pattern. But if you're using the body and you can readjust like that, you can see that the body was respected and markets have been moving to the downside, which is totally fine. I didn't get that trade. I never cry over something that I don't have. If it's not mine, it's not mine. I'll look for the next opportunity that comes. But what I had last week on USD card, here it is. It was quite a steep flag here. Okay, it was quite a steep flag. This is what I had here. There we go. It was a steep flag. Immediately markets, I was looking at the same thing. I was looking for this level. Now I had to readjust sort of like this. So immediately market tapped this liquidity zone for me. I was already in that short. I got a very good entry. Even as market closed down here, immediately I was in that sell. So markets moved to the downside. Now remember, this one for me, I was looking for a risk reward of about till there, about 1:2. Okay, but this one I didn't hold it to target. Once the market moved to the downside, Friday was coming to an end, I decided to close my trades. And that's what I was saying. The advantage, sometimes it can be an advantage and it can also act as a disadvantage, but it acted as an advantage for me this time. Maybe in future it might act as a disadvantage, but I ended up closing my trades, and I closed it at a very good point where markets held and turned. Okay, so I got my entry there, took my profits, and combined I made about 3,500, because the Aussie dollar reached target. I think I made 2% on that one, and this one made about, it didn't reach target, it didn't fully go to the 2%, so I made about 1.5, 1.6. So total I made about $3,600 before the end of the day. I remember it took 4:30, by around 9:30, 10 p.m. I'd closed off those trades. So I made, it was a good amount. And if you come to my Forex funded FX, my 100K account, you can see this is what happened. Remember, like I said, I'd lost 2 trades here. Okay, and then I ended up making it back up, and I made profits, withdrew the profits. If you look at my certificates here, in terms of withdrawals, where's the most recent one? This one here. Okay, so you can see if we open this one fully, we can get to see this was the was it this one? No. It was another one. This one. Yes. Sorry about that. This one. So you can see the date here was 16th of the second month, February 16th, which was last week on Friday. Made about $1,600, $1,500. Remember, you take 80% of the profits, so 1,350. I took that as my profit, took it home, and that's what happened with that trade. So able to withdraw, got my money same day, that Friday evening. That's the good thing about removing money direct via cryptocurrency, getting it straight into your account, and then now from there you know what to do with your own personal funds. So yeah, this one, I had another small one here, this 208. This is another 25K account I have. You can see here's a 25K account, same day, $200. So in total that day I removed about $1,550 dollars. So it was a good way to end the week, starting the week with a loss, or rather starting the month with a loss, ending last week with a winner, giving me profit by the end of the month. So far I'm profitable both for January and February, and looking for better opportunities this coming week as the markets unfold. So that's basically it from me. I don't talk about the other accounts, like I said. In my previous videos, I've been talking about them a lot. You can go and watch them and know the accounts I have. But for now, I want to keep that private. I want to talk mainly about this one. Just remember, anything that's happening on this one is happening on other accounts. Maybe later on, if I feel like I might change and decide to share with you, maybe for example, I have an account with the funded trader, which is my best prop firm so far. So the funded trader, I have an account that is about to go live, that is remaining 1.5%. So hopefully if I get a good trade by the end of the week, I'll have another live account which I'll have to go live with as well. I have another 25k account which is in phase 2 about to go live, and the others in phase 1. I have another one with also the funded trader which is in phase 1. I have another one with the Forex funder which is still in phase 1, and if my funded engineer comes back, I have another one with my funded engineer which is also still in phase 1. So that's basically what's going down with my accounts. You can see for this one, my total lifetime paid on this one so far is about 3,975. Lifetime challenge paid, yeah, also paid. You can see this is refund as well. This is money that comes back, and then this is money that I've made profit. So on my funded FX prop firm, I'm actually net profitable so far. Invested, got my money back, and made profit out of it. So it's a good return on investments, and that's what's going on that one. So that's how I made $3,500 in about 5 hours. And that's how I basically break down the market, and that's what I teach my students here at Financial Hub. Now, at the end of the day, I like telling my students or anyone who wants to join us, it's up to you. If you want to learn from us, like I remember I was watching someone who was saying, what's the shortcut to success? And the person who was asking that said, there's no shortcut to success. And he said, there actually is a shortcut to success, and that is mentorship. If you can get someone who can mentor you, they can help you figure out what not to do and what to do at a shorter time instead of going through it by yourself. But if you want to do it by yourself, it's totally fine. Go ahead, because we personally went that direction, and if you want to do that, it's totally fine. But if you want to learn from us how prop firms work, how we manage risk, how we trade prop firms, how we trade our own personal accounts, I believe here at Financial Lab is the best place to be, because we show you the reality, the transparency, and the honest return on investments that we make here. Okay, so that's it from me from this video. So I think my partner Ken will also come and discuss his side of his prop firms, and Taras will also come and discuss and give you an update of how they're performing. But like I always say when I end my videos, stay woke, stay financially literate, and may the peeps be with you. See you next time. Peace.